We do have a couple other boats that have pulled up out here on the south end or the south side of the shipping channel. Looks like they're doing about the same thing that we are. One of them's spot locked. The other one, I can't tell that he's got an anchor out. He doesn't have a trolling motor, so he may just be drifting. And I'm not moving a whole lot every time I move. I may move 20 or 30 feet or 50 feet. I'm basically just working my way down the pipeline until I find some place that the fish are biting. The right kind of fish is what we want, but fish nonetheless. And I put a new motor guide trolling motor on my boat a couple of weeks ago, and used it all last weekend, and I've used it today, obviously. But I really like this trolling motor. It's an i5 by Motor Guide. 108 pounds of thrust, I think, 36 volts. I had to add another battery to my setup for my trolling motors. But the GPS on this trolling motor is a whole lot better than what my other one was. My other one was a Minn Kota. It was an older Minn Kota, but it was an 80 pound thrust, 24 volt. And it would not hold the boat still. I mean, I would literally move 6, 8, 10 feet both directions. This trolling motor, it locks us down. And that's what I have to deal with that. So we're in 55 feet of water now, a little bit shallower than we were just a minute ago. And there's some bait down there. What we're doing now is we're going to pull up here on the power line and fish right behind one of the power poles where it's in the water. A couple of weeks ago I caught that 28-inch red snapper. We're not trying to catch red snapper, but there should be some grouper and stuff behind it as well. And it's hard to fish it out of a big boat to get anchored on it where you can fish right behind it. If you have a kayak or a smaller boat, it might be easier. I know it'd be easier with a kayak, but in a 22.5 foot bay boat with the wind coming out of the northeast, it makes it a little bit difficult. But we're going to try it. And there's fish showing up on the depth finder. They're not on the bottom, they're up in the water column swimming around. We'll try it for a minute and see if we can catch anything, and then if not, we'll go somewhere else. I think I'm going to use a big spinning rod now, so I can toss it over there. It's got a 65-pound test line on the Pin Fierce 3 6000. Same weight and hook as I've got on that big rod, the 100-pound rod. And we're in 32 feet of water, 31 feet, between 31 and 32 feet. And there's a lot of bait showing on the bottom. And there are some fish showing too, so we'll see. There we go. That's a big fish right there. Fighting like a shark or fighting like a big shark. Not a shark, big redfish. Big redfish. Big redfish. And he swallowed the hook. So he gets to keep it. I would like to have my weight back. I would like a picture. Big redfish. We catch a few of them that size in the fall when they're moving back out. I do like to catch them. I was going to say that's as much fun as you can have with your clothes on, but I'm not sure. It's close. I love to catch those things. I like the huge fish right there. Big head shake. Another big redfish. Another big redfish. Big redfish. Not quite as big as the other one. He's a dandy. All I can say is if you don't like Panama City or fishing in Panama City, you're missing out. You don't like to fish. Another one. Feels like another big redfish. Yep. He's drumming like crazy. Another big redfish. Alright, well I know where the big redfish are. Try that again. Alright, so we're on the edge of the drop off into the shipping channel. So it goes to the south from here. We just came up into 43 feet of water. If I turn left, which is south, it dropped back off again. And then it drops off again going west, because it's almost like a big peninsula out here. Still 37, 38 feet deep here, where I've got 65 feet to the north of me just a little bit, and same thing going south of me a little bit. This is right where the pipeline goes underneath the shipping channel over to the other side. And I'm not seeing a lot of fish on it right now, but we'll keep looking. And what's marked on the map for where the pipeline is not where the pipeline is. That will get you close. But you need to watch your bottom machine and just idle back and forth, east to west, and you'll run across it. And it'll just look like a hump on the bottom. That's the pipeline. And there's always fish on it, some kind of fish. I didn't bring any of my small rods, so I'm not going to fish for mangrove snapper or lane snapper or anything else like that. But they're here. Grunts are here. Catfish, obviously, because I caught some earlier. Red snapper are here. They don't pile up on one spot like they do on the places that I fish over in St. Andrews Bay. But they're here. They'll swim up and down the pipeline looking for something to eat. And if they come by, you know, when you got a bait out, most of the time they'll eat it. And I'm just going to go across it in a zigzag pattern until I find something that looks like there's some fish on it. And I'm not looking for big arches like I do over in St. Andrews. What I'm looking for is bait fish. Because if there's bait fish there, there will be fish there. And I'm seeing a few bait fish. I mean, I'm out in 56 feet of water now, and I'm seeing a few bait fish down there on the pipeline. It may not get good again until the tide picks back up, because it's supposed to be coming in. I didn't even look to see what time it was supposed to start coming in, but we're in slack tide right now. We're fairly slack. The tide's actually starting to come in, but it's real slow right now. We had a negative low tide. If you're not familiar with the tides here in Panama City, a big tide for us would be about 2 feet. We just don't get big tides. Over in Perry, we would get sometimes 3 and a little over 3 foot of tide change. Here we just don't. Nothing along the Gulf Coast that I know of gets more than a couple of feet. And it's the same down in Tampa. In Tampa, they only get 1.5 to 2 feet of tide change, typically. Now you'll have those king tides where the tide comes in further than normal, and so it'll be a little over 2 feet. But typically our tide change here is less than 2 feet. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So this is the pipeline. That's all bait. There's bait up here. That's all bait. And then right on the bottom, that little bit of yellow that you can see is the what they put on top of the pipeline to keep it in place. So I'm going to fish off this side over here, because I think the boat's going to kind of swing a little bit sideways, which that's what it's doing. And I'm going to stay with the 100-pound gear. We're in 63 feet of water. Oh, there are some little red snapper here. There's a little red snapper. There's they're nowhere near keepers. That's a hardhead catfish. Don't want him. Little snapper. We need bigger bait than him, I think, on my big rod. I like to see those little ones though. Get a decent snapper and my phone or my camera rolls over. Not huge, but good keeper. on, dude. Big catfish. Big sail cat. It's definitely been a catfish kind of day. Alright, well, it's about time to call it a day. It's been a pretty decent day. Hadn't caught a whole lot of fish, but we've caught some pretty big fish. We had those 3 big red fish. We had 3 pretty good size red snapper, had that 1 small grouper, caught a bunch of little snapper. So it hadn't been a bad day. The outlook for today was poor. It has not been, just one right after the other, except those 3 redfish, 3 drops, 3 redfish. But I'm glad y'all joined me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would, hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the like button. If you want to get notified when I release new videos, hit the notification bell. And I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Tomorrow, actually.